Today we've heard from many mayors and local leaders from both north, south, east, and west, from cities big and small, from regions and provinces and states, and I think it's fair to say all of us agree. Cities lie at the center of the climate change challenge, and cities lie at the center of the solution as well. Yes, we need central governments to come to an ambitious agreement, but that agreement will only succeed if it empowers all of you to do more. In talking with mayors from around the world, I've heard many express the same frustrations with central governments. I've heard mayors say, we need greater flexibility to manage our infrastructure. We need greater access to global credit markets. We need greater freedom from regulations that stifle new technology. We need energy subsidies to be redirected from coal and other dirty-burning fuel sources to solar, wind, and to gas. And we need a seat at the table when it comes to planning national policies that relate to energy and climate change. And I think you're right about all of those points. And you're also right that if central governments were to meet those needs, then cities can help them meet and even exceed the national goals that they should commit to here in Paris. So how do we convince central governments to act? We lead by example. We show them how much we can accomplish on our own and in partnership with the private sector. And that was really the genius of Ban Ki-moon, the Secretary General of the United Nations. He came to me and he said, it's cities that are doing things, and you can help federal governments by being a good example, not necessarily by shaming them into doing something, but something very close to that. If cities can do it, then national governments can do it. But there's one more thing that we have to do. We must continue building this community of mayors and local leaders so that it grows larger and stronger year by year. Never before have cities had such influence on climate negotiations, but today is only the beginning. Whatever agreement central governments might strike next week, the emission pledges won't really kick in until the year 2020. That gives us 5 years to show central governments how much more ambitious the commitments that they are making here in Paris should have been, and that will give them confidence in 2020 to set the bar much higher. How do we do that? It's not complicated. Continual collaboration and coalition building. Heads of state meet every 5 years or so for formal negotiating conferences on climate. City leaders are in constant communication with one another, and they're far more nimble in cooperating across national borders. The larger and more active our community of local leaders is, the more progress we will make and the more influential we will become. For instance, in just 1 year, more than 400 cities have now signed on to the Compact of Mayors, which can be a model for COP21. Compact cities now represent 5% of the world's people and more than 5% of the world's carbon emissions. Commitments those cities have already made through the Compact to reduce emissions will put us more than halfway to what cities globally can achieve before 2020. And by signing on to the Compact, each city commits to 3 major ideas, and these ideas really are unique in government. First, we want to set bold goals, goals that people can understand and measure. Second, adopting common measurements so we can compare one city to another. And third, publicly reporting progress so that citizens can hold governments accountable for results. If cities can agree to these 3 principles, why can't federal governments, why can't nations do exactly that? If the public knew how they stood compared to other places, they would demand action, and they would demand it in real time, and they would get it. Now, I hope all of you city leaders in every room in this great building will commit to signing the Compact of Mayors. And when you return home, I hope you will urge other cities in your home countries to join you as well. There is no better ways to demonstrate your commitment to this issue than by joining with other cities who are not only making pledges, but also uniquely holding themselves accountable for fulfilling them. That's what good government is about. That's what leading from the front rather than leading from the back is about. You were not elected to ask the public where they want to go. You were elected to have a vision of what is right for the people you serve and then convince them to follow you to a better life. So today, I would like to issue a challenge. Over the course of the next year, let us build this community of local leaders by substantially increasing the number of cities that sign on to the compact. It is the best insurance we have against backsliding by central governments, and it's the best hope we have for accelerating the pace of change in every region of the world over the next 5 years. I first came to this issue because of its implications for public health. A mayor's first responsibility, just like a president's or a prime minister, is to protect the people they serve from harm. Today, no elected leader at any level of government can fulfill that responsibility without mounting a full frontal assault on climate change. And that's why so many cities have already signed on to the Compact of Mayors. And if you haven't done so yet, here's a short video that will explain more about it, and I hope you sign on today. Let me tell you, it will put a smile on your face before you turn off the light in the bathroom tonight that you've done the right thing, the reason you were elected, and that you can go back and look at your families and say, today, I did what was right. It may not be easy politically, but I stood up for you, my family, and for you, the people that I serve. So thank you, keep up the great work, and let's watch the film.
The earth was here before us and was given to us.
Every country makes commitments to make this world better. The cities are where really we deliver results.
Cities and local governments are the actual implementers which transform thinking into action.
Saving our planet, lifting people out of poverty, advancing economic growth. These are one and the same fight.
Back in September of 2014, Bloomberg Philanthropies launched the Compact of Mayors with the United Nations.
Compact, noun. An agreement between two or more people, organizations, or countries. Compact of Mayors, noun. An alliance of local leaders. A common platform to capture cities' collective actions against climate change.
Initiatives like the Compact of Mayors are helping cities fulfill concrete climate goals and share their lessons.
Uygulamaya geçmemiz gerekiyor. Belediye başkanları sözleşmesinden son derece ümitliyim.
I call upon you to contribute to the success of the negotiation, and especially to the life of the planet for which you are now responsible.
I have a saying, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And that's one of the things that the Compact does.
We must walk the walk. We must ensure climate justice.
I urge more cities around the world to join the Compact of Mayors.
We are committed to the Compact of Mayors.
Paris s'engage pour la COP.
London is committed to the Compact of Mayors.
Committed to the Compact of Mayors.
I am committed to the Compact of Mayors.
I am committed to the Compact of Mayors.
I am committed.
What kind of world do we want to leave those who come after us? To children who are now growing up?